BrittanyBearMakeup here, and welcome back to my channel. So today is really exciting because today is my wedding day. Well, I guess it's not my wedding day, but I guess we can pretend. Obviously, I'm just kidding, but today's video is really exciting because I'm gonna be showing you guys how I would do makeup for a bride because it is bridal season. So make sure you guys turn on your post notifications so you can be a part of my bear family. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and as always, guys, subscribe to my channel and keep on watching. Sit back, put on your veil, ladies, and let's get ready for wedding season.
You are now rocking with
Brittany, bitch.
Alright guys, so to begin this look, I'm going to be taking a Morphe M503 brush and my GRAFTOBIAN Cool palette, and I'm going to be placing a lighter shade onto her lid to act as a primer. Placing it onto her lid to blend out any pigmentation that she might have naturally on her eye. We are now going to set her eye with a little bit of translucent powder using the same eyeshadow brush. This is just going to mattify any of the product and make sure that her eyeshadow doesn't slip and slide throughout the day. So for today's look, I'm going to be picking up my Morphe 3502 palette and creating a beautiful bronzy look for Samantha's big day. Are you excited? She's not really getting married, guys, but it's nice to pretend. Picking up a Morphe M514 brush, I'm going to be dipping this into the color Fawn from my Morphe palette. I'm going to begin by slightly blending this in the corner of her eye. So what we're doing is we're creating all the intensity right here on the side to really just make her eyes look bold and beautiful for this look. Grabbing this same brush, I'm going to be picking up the shade Toast. And grabbing this, I'm going to begin by intensifying the corner once again, but dragging this shade across her lower lash line. I'm also going to be creating a little bit more dimension by amplifying the crease. It's okay if the eyeshadow looks a little bit messy on the corners, guys. We're going to go ahead and clean that up with a wipe when we're done, so don't be scared, have a little faith. Taking the color Pure from the same palette and using my handy dandy finger, I'm going to be using this to apply this beautiful color onto her lid. So just pressing the color in, we're adding a little bit more dimension and really just opening up her eye. So on the inner corner of her eye, we're using this to really just amplify that, as well as onto her lid. Then I'm going to go ahead and pick up a clean wipe and clean up any fallout that she might have and really just shape her eyeshadow. So grabbing my wipe, I'm going to be pulling upward towards the end of her brow. Alright guys, so now we are going to move on to her face. So I'm going to begin by taking my SMASHBOX Photo Finish Color Correcting Primer. And this has a green undertone, so it's going to cancel out any redness that she might have in her face naturally. Alright guys, so for foundation today, I'm going to be taking my favorite foundation of all time, my JOUER foundation, in the shade Fawn. So grabbing my Morphe E57 brush, I'm going to begin by applying this onto her skin. It's like so full coverage. So taking a damp beauty blender, I'm going to go in and begin by buffing this into the skin and really just making sure that I apply it to all the areas that she needs a little bit of coverage. It is now time to add a little bit of highlight under her eyes and really just sculpt out her face. So for this, I'll be using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC20. Then picking up a Morphe M705 brush, which is a flat concealer brush, I'm going to be applying this underneath her eyes and all the areas I want to highlight on her face. Applying a little bit of product to her chin area, down the bridge of her nose, underneath her eye as well, on the other side, and on the corners of her mouth just to give it a little bit of lift. Now going back into our damp beauty blender, we're gonna go ahead and blend this out. So just working the product in and being very careful with her under eyes. We don't wanna press too hard. Now the corners of her mouth as well as the bottom of her chin. And then we're gonna pat the bottom half of her forehead as well. It is now time to contour. So for this, I'll be using my Morphe brush. This is my 6th brush from my nose contouring collaboration, and my GRAFTOBIAN palette in the cool tones. So picking up a darker shade of brown, I'm going to begin by sculpting out her cheekbones. So beginning on the side of her cheek, I'm going to go ahead and drag a straight line. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom half of her chin, dragging it across her jawbone, As well as on the rim of her forehead, I'm gonna add a couple little streaks and connect it with her actual contour that we just created. Now I'm gonna go ahead and repeat the same step onto the other side, dragging it across her forehead, as well as on her cheekbone, the bottom half of her chin, and dragging it across her jawline. We're also gonna be applying a little bit under her lips to make them look a little bit more poutier. Starting from the inner quarter part of her eye, I'm gonna begin by dragging one line down one side of her nose. We're then going to be applying the product to the bottom half of her nose to sharpen it. Then we're gonna repeat the same step onto the other side. And then I'm gonna be applying a little bit of product going in a horizontal line to give her more of that button-like nose. Picking up a damp beauty blender, I'm gonna go ahead and begin by buffing and blending out all the harsh lines. So I'm patting the contour in and really focusing on keeping it in the same area I applied it to. Remember guys, you want the contour to still show a little bit, but still be blended at the same time. So you wanna make sure that you're patting the product in rather than dragging the product out. Once we went ahead and blended out her face, it is now time to move on to her nose. So picking up my MO brush from my nose contouring brush set, I'm gonna use this to blend out her nose and really define it by using the creams. So going back and forth, I'm just blending out any harsh lines that you may see. It is now time to set her face. So for this, I'm gonna be using my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade C2. And then I'm gonna begin by lightly packing it to all the areas that I highlighted on her face. So as you can see, I'm applying it underneath her eyes, on her lower chin, on the bridge of her nose, the lower part of her forehead, and then on the other side as well. Once we went ahead and set her face with a little bit of powder, it is now time to bronze her up. So for this, I'll be using my Too Faced bronzer, my illuminating bronzer, and a Morphe M554 brush. So as you guys can see, I'm just going back and forth and really just creating dimension to her face. When you're contouring, you want to apply light pressure because you don't want any really distinct harsh lines. So as you can see, this is one side with a little bit of contour, and this is the other side without contour. Obviously, this side looks a little higher up, so we're gonna go ahead and continue by adding the bronzer to her jawbone. We're also gonna be applying this to the rim of her forehead as well. And then we're gonna contour the other side of her cheek. Alright guys, so once you went ahead and applied the bronzer and you are now looking nice and sculpted, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera and contour her nose for just a second. I do have a separate video on this if you guys want to check it out. I'll go ahead and link it right over here actually. Over here guys, you can go ahead and click this link and learn how to snatch your nose. It is now time to smoke out the rest of her eye and taking a Morphe M507 brush. So for this, I'm going back into the same color I started in and then begin by brushing this color along the lower part of her lash line. So brushing back and forth, I'm just really focusing on blending out the product and making sure that I make the whole eye look come to life. So the next step is going to be taking our JOUER pencil, and this is our Slim Cream Eyeliner in the shade Matte Nude. This is going to make her eyes look a lot more open and a lot wider in shape. So it is now time to apply mascara. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Perversion Urban Decay Mascara and apply it to her bottom and top lashes. Alright guys, so the next step is going to be taking and applying on lashes. So I'm going to be using my 615s from Salon Perfect, applying a little adhesive to it, and apply it onto her lash line. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same step onto the other side. We're now going to do the final steps to preparing our beautiful bride. I'm going to be taking my blush from Tarte, and I'm going to be applying this to the apples of her cheek using the same Morphe M554 brush. And then on the apples of her cheek, I'm applying the product and brushing it into her contour. As you guys can see, blush just adds that beautiful, youthful glow, and you definitely want that, especially if you're a bride-to-be. Now I'm going to go in my Hyper Real Glow from MAC Cosmetics. Taking the same brush, I'm going to be applying this highlight to the rest of her face. I'm going to go in and highlight her upper cheekbone as well as her cupid's bow. I'm going to apply it to the upper part of her forehead, as well as on the other side of her face. And as you guys can see, this just adds that beautiful glowy, dewy look that every bride needs to have on her wedding day. She needs to glow from afar. All right, guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and go off camera real quick. She has her eyebrows microbladed, so I'm just going to go in really quickly and fill them in, and we'll be back in just a second to finish off this beautiful bridal glam. Alright guys, so to finish off this beautiful look, I'm going to go ahead and take my Morphe Sweet Tea Lip Liner, and I'm going to go ahead and begin by outlining her lips. It is now time to apply the lipstick. So for this, I'll be picking up my Too Faced Melted Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Cool Girl. Watching today's tutorial. A big thank you to my beautiful model Samantha for being such a beautiful and perfect bride today. I hope all of you guys love this bridal look, and I cannot wait to see you guys recreate it on your big day. If you guys liked today's video, don't forget to give it a big ol' thumbs up, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!